Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Happy Monday. We've got a lot to get into. I want to welcome my guests here right off the bat. We've got Matthew Marsden, BlazeTV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, along with Logan Hall. He is, of course, our Blaze Media digital strategist. Happy that you guys are both here. I saw you way too much this weekend.
Yeah, it's been too much. It's like
we've been with each other.
Gonzales overload.
Yeah. But I want to tell everyone your new movie, Protocol 7, is available now for people to watch, correct?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Do you remember where they can go to?
I have no idea. Come on.
Terrible.
I'm just a meat puppet.
Okay.
I don't know what people say.
Okay, before we end the show, we're going to tell you guys where you can go to watch Protocol 7. But we've been to, the Austin premiere together this weekend. We went to the Dallas screener over at the Angelica last night, and it has been very, very well received by all who have seen it. So we'll make sure to get you that link since PR guy over here is so good at remembering where to go. So before we get started, I want to talk about this Trump rally in Nevada. But I want to tell you guys, I've got new merch out at the Blaze Media shop. And yes, those of you who are watching, you see it has a little thing of Donald Trump and it says, "I'm voting for the convicted felon."
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
I need you guys to buy this, okay? Because you can go to saramerch.com, so you can save 10% with code SARA10, okay? Saramerch.com. There's no H in that. It's just an unnecessary letter. But I need you guys to buy this because I went to our merch people and I was like, this is what I want. And they were like, yeah, but other people have it. And I'm like, I don't care. They'll buy it if we put this out. It's awesome. So I need you guys to go to saramerch.com and save 10% using Sara10 as the code. And just go buy that because it's awesome. And I can't wait for mine to come in, is all I'm saying. All right, so let's get into, speaking of the convicted felon himself, former President Donald Trump held his first rally since being convicted in the New York City hush money case. Yes, it was a big deal that he falsified those business records. And so this was in Nevada, which is, of course, historically a swing state. And it was incredible. I think we have a little bit of a time lapse of these people. They're setting up. Here they are. They're setting up in the early morning. I read a report that said that there was blistering heat. It was like over 100 degrees outside.
6 people went to the hospital.
6 people went to the hospital. There were, I think it was like 37 more that were treated on scene just from the heat because that's how hot it was. But that didn't stop all of these people. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. The line of people who were just waiting to get into the area so that they could set up and be part of this rally. So no shortage of people showing up to these rallies, specifically in this swing state of Nevada. And so I want to play a couple different moments of Donald Trump's speech here. Let's first listen to Donald Trump talking about Joe Biden's economic and border policies, or I would say lack of policies, and promising to turn the country around. Watch.
The illegal immigrants are turning, and they're turning at a level that nobody's ever seen before. They're fighting our families. They're totally destroying our black population. They're totally destroying our Hispanic population. And you know what else they're destroying? And for you, it means a little bit less, but it means quite a bit in this state. They're killing unions. They're killing unions because the unions are not able to survive. They're not able to survive this onslaught. It's making them impossible. They've worked hard. They've worked long to get their salaries up a little bit. They're not able to do it. Virtually 100% of the new jobs under Biden have also gone to illegal aliens. Did you know that? 100%. And these people are so bad. They will correct me when I say 100%. 100% of the new jobs have gone to illegal aliens. Can you believe it?
Why, yes, I can. So I want to play one more clip here. This is Donald Trump. This is something I've never heard from him. I know you guys, specifically you, Logan, follow Trump a lot more closely than me. Maybe you've heard him talk about this before, but he was talking about eliminating taxes off of service workers' tips. Watch.
This is the first time I've said this, and for those hotel workers and people that get tips, you're going to be very happy. Because when I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips. We're not going to do it. And we're going to do that right away, first thing in office, because it's been a point of contention for years and years and years. And you do a great job of service. You take care of people. And I think it's going to be something that really is deserved. More importantly, popular or unpopular. I do some unpopular things, too, if it's right for the country. I do what's right. But so those people that have jobs in restaurants, whatever the job may be, a tipping job, we're not going after for taxes anymore. This will be ended. And I announced that for the first time. First time I've brought it up. First time anyone's brought it up. I think it's never been brought up before. And I also think it's very appropriate.
I just love how it's only Donald Trump can spend a minute and 4 seconds talking about one very tiny thing that he's going to do, and only he can filibuster it and stretch it out that long. Look, I'm all for this. I don't benefit from it, but if we can roll back anything in relation to taxes,
It's good.
right? It's like, okay, step one. What is step two? What else are we not going to tax anymore? Let's just keep going on that. If we can start there and keep going, let's just use that momentum to like talk about other taxes that we're going to roll back. That would be great.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch the master at work like that. He had some legendary rant during this rally about electric boats and a shark in the ocean. He was just going off. This went mega viral over the weekend. It's very much worth watching.
I missed it.
If anyone in the audience hasn't seen it, they should go see it. But 2 points there. The first is that 100% when it comes to illegal immigration, the jobs report has gone overwhelmingly. I think it's something like 75 or 80% of all the new jobs that Biden brags about creating have gone to foreigners, not just illegal immigrants, but legal immigrants as well. And this used to be, he said they're crushing the unions. This used to be a mainstream Democrat talking point. Bernie Sanders, back in the day, there's an old clip of him where he says open borders is a right-wing Koch brothers proposal because it cheapens the labor and it hurts American wages. They won't let him say that anymore because they've moved way too far to the left. Right. But this is standard Democrat, blue dog Democrat policy, and now they can't utter it. Now Trump's the one uttering it, and that's somehow supposedly fascism now. And then the second thing he touched on was the service industry, tipping culture, etc. The service industry has just gone down the tube since COVID. Customer service is awful almost everywhere you look, except maybe like Chick-fil-A. Yeah. But Trump's hitting on a very important thing there that we have to get our service workers, like something went seriously wrong since COVID, and the results have not been good.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And I also hate that like I'm expected to tip all the time now. Like,
oh yeah, for a regular meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I'm just like, but you didn't do anything.
Yeah, we're gonna ask you some options to flip around on that. Yes. No, thank you.
Yeah. I'm just like, but you didn't service you didn't refill my drink, you didn't bring me my food. You're just like throwing a bag out the window or something. I just
bought a sandwich.
Right, exactly. You just literally just handed me the bag and you want me to pay you an additional 18% on top of that. Like, and I think that they do take advantage. I'm going totally off the rails here. I think that they do take advantage of the square whenever you have to like swipe your thing. Yep. And I think it's a normal thing for people to see on the square. And they're just like, we're just going to put it out there and see if people bite.
And I would maybe even consider it if we had more disposable money to get rid of in Biden's economy, but everything else has skyrocketed. So you just can't afford tips as much as you used to be able to 4 years ago.
Yeah. And, don't be crappy at your service. And maybe
I grew up in England, so when they say if you can have a tip, I go, don't eat the yellow snow. If
you guys don't tip at all.
No, well, no, you do, but you have to have good service. It's not like
it's not
automatic.
Okay. So that was a weird thing. Now look, I mean, I'm actually all for it, especially not for mandatory. For you having to do it. I don't think you should have to. Like when you go to Starbucks and you get a coffee and it comes up tip, I'm like, what are you talking? Like I'm already paying like $6 for a coffee and all you did was take my order. Like, well done. You took my order. No, it's like it's meant to be. If you provide a really good service, if you're courteous, if you go above and beyond.
There's just no standards. There's just no standards. Hardly any more standards left in American culture. That's just another sign of the decline.
Yeah, here's the other thing, is that Trump is totally jiu-jitsuing them. Like, this is the master, as you say, is the master. Not only just the way he talks, I'm not going to do my Trump impression. He always does this. But anyway, I can't do a Trump impression. But
Oh, it's good.
But no, what he does is brilliant because he's taken unions. Hang on a minute, that's the left, right? And then he's taken the service industry, which is normally the left, which, by the way, he has to deal with unions all the time. He knows them. He has to deal with the service industry all the time. He's in it, right? So what he's doing is he's taking those issues away. So the left cannot, and if the Republicans were smart, they get this.
Big
right?
F.
Yeah.
Well, we know. But they would utilize this because he's stripping that away from them. So they can't turn around and say the Republicans are about big business anymore, because who's about big business? It's actually the Democrats are all about big business. Right. Republicans are about small, or they should be, about small businesses, growing small businesses, looking after the little person, which is what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, look, I'm not here to help corporate greed. Mm-hmm. I'm here to put more money back in working people's pockets.
Right.
That is a fantastic message.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to do it, actually, and he's doing it. So Trump gets it. He really does.
I agree. Well, I was just going to say, on top of that, I think it was smart for him to show up to the Libertarian convention, right? So he did that. He shows up. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna pardon your guy," right? Ross, what's his name? Ross Ulbricht.
Yeah.
And then they nominated a complete total psycho. So he's like, just saying, if you don't like child groomers and weirdos, maybe you should just vote for me. So he was smart there. He's smart in what he's doing, talking to unions and talking to these service workers. And then on top of that, I do think that you have, think about the oil and gas industry and how many people are in a union in that particular industry. Think about how badly Joe Biden has decimated that entire industry. I mean, I thought that it was crazy that we didn't see the shift. Well, maybe it was the fortification, but we didn't see the shift after that last debate. I will never forget, after the last debate, the last time around, and Joe Biden had that terrible moment where he literally said, yes, I want to eliminate the oil and gas industry. And everyone was like, okay, he's done. Holy crap. There's no way that he wins after that. Again, it was probably the fortification.
Well,
but that is so much different than what time we're living in right now. Like, he has done so much to decimate that industry today that now they're literally living it. There's no way he can keep those votes.
But it's not just that industry. I mean,
No, that was just one example.
Yeah, but even, let's just say I'm going to go after the oil and gas industry. Well, what does that impact, right? It impacts your truck drivers, it impacts your groceries, it impacts all these different ancillary, basically impacts everything. So, of course, all these other elements have been affected by it. Of course, all these other unions. And look, I understand that kind of mindset that unions are normally they're normally Democrat. It's the same thing like the African American vote is normally Democrat. But now people are going, hang on.
Yeah.
Like, what have you done for me lately? You haven't done anything. You are crushing deliberately. Like, and I say this all the time to people, like, take them by their word, right? When they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. Mm-hmm. He did, and he's been trying to crush the oil and gas industry, which, by the way, the other thing what he's doing, and people don't get it, is he's trying to take money out of the pockets of people that are supporting the right.
Right.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right? Because he hasn't gone after big tech like that, but he will. Now there's a bunch of big tech people going, hang on a second, like, this is ridiculous. We can't. So you'll see him keep pivoting, because that's what communists do.
So true.
Mm-hmm. All right. Before we go to a break, I do want to play this one more here. This is a recently resurfaced video, I guess, that is Nancy Pelosi. Okay. Former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, just kind of accidentally, I think, admitting her responsibility for the security breaches during January 6, 2021. Now, this is, remember, actually, I don't have to say remember, you guys already know. For years and years, they, of course, blamed Donald Trump, even though we all talked about, hey, actually, Nancy Pelosi was the one who was in charge of all of this security. Well, here she is actually admitting that. Watch.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff
the inaugural stuff?
Should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
Why weren't they? Why weren't they? Why weren't they?
They thought that they had sufficient
No,
resources.
that is not a question of how they have been. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Wow, that's convenient.
I'm just saying, okay, so now we're all on the same page that it was your, in fact, responsibility to make sure that everything was secure, especially because they already claimed that they had, credible threats and all of these things.
Well, why didn't you do it, Nancy? They don't know. They don't know. They don't know.
It was your responsibility. I'm glad that we're clear on that. Last words, gentlemen?
Yeah, these people are shameless frauds and liars. It's just safe to assume that every narrative they try to throw in your face is a lie, and it's been distorted, and they're trying to manipulate you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my thing, I had
Pretty simple.
Yes.
Sweet.
Correct. That's all. I don't have anything to add to that.
I had an epiphany about the fact that they're going after Donald Trump for this alleged, right? And, it hasn't even been confirmed, that he did anything. And yet they've made millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and nobody's gone after anybody in Congress for the amount of money that they earn all the time.
We have a good BlazeTV documentary on this, by the way. I will plug as our digital strategist a little bit of a plug, but yeah, we did something on this.
It's outrageous, and what we're seeing, I think we're seeing it not only in America but all across the world. People are getting very, very frustrated with the blatant double standards, and oddly enough, again, with the advent of social media, they've weaponized it for a long time, but now because they're really crappy liars, because they're dumb,
yes, they are,
right? You can find stuff like this. You just incriminated yourself in something,
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing, because, they're going through everything with Donald Trump with a fine tooth comb and not finding anything.
Right.
But if you took 5 seconds to go after these bunch of clowns, you could find all kinds of stuff that they're guilty of.
Yeah.
You just don't know. He doesn't know. Matt Marsden doesn't know. Shut up. Shut up, Matt.
No.
You just don't even know.
I know.
It's my responsibility.
Okay. All right. We've got to take a quick break. We will be back with more, but want to thank new sponsor of the program, Lumen. So I'm really, really excited about this. I wish that I had brought it. I love this thing. It looks like a vape, and I promise you it's not. But when you first use it, you're like, people, do you think I'm vaping? No, it doesn't look like it once you actually get the hang of things. So if you're ready to take control of your health like you never have before, I'd like you to meet Lumen. This is the world's first handheld metabolic coach, okay? It measures your metabolism through your breath, which I'm still not quite sure. I don't know how it works, because every time I do, you breathe into it, you blow into it. It's like a breathalyzer. But it measures whether you're burning fats or whether you're burning carbs. And then once it measures that, it gives you tailored guidance on your nutrition, on your workouts, on your sleep, and even stress management to make sure that you are burning the most amount of calories possible. And again, every time I blow into it, I'm like, does my breath smell a certain way? Is that how it's measuring?
Ew.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, but it works, okay? And then you're going to optimize your metabolic health, and so you can achieve easier weight management, better energy levels, improve fitness results, and even better sleep. Lumen tracks your cycle also. So those of you who are ladies out there, it can adjust recommendations.
Hey, yeah.
Right. You're right. That wasn't inclusive of me. I'm sorry.
Wow.
All of you who are... what do they even say?
Menstruating people.
Yeah,
thank you. Menstruating people. Thank you, Stephen.
God.
All of you. How dare I? All of you menstruating people out there, you can measure hormonal shifts like menopause and help you maintain energy and stave off cravings. So I'm telling you guys, this is awesome. You're going to love it. You can go to lumen.me/Sarah to get 15% off of your Lumen. That is LUMEN.me/Sarah for 15% off. All right, joining us now, it's a party here. We've got Julio Rosas. He is, of course, our national correspondent here at Blaze Media, and we are so happy that you are with us. I think last time you were on the show, you were down on the border.
Yeah, I was in
so.
San Diego. Yeah, still a problem,
Yes.
surprisingly.
Still, yeah.
I don't know if you've been paying attention, but...
Yeah, still a problem. And so Julio is being pulled in many different directions, one of which was in D.C. over the weekend, and he caught quite the confrontation on camera where anti-Israel protesters were clashing with Secret Service and U.S. Park Police during a protest in front of the White House. I want to play some of Julio's footage, and then Julio, I want you to kind of fill in the gaps for us here. Watch. Has to leave.
He's telling that to the park. Telling the park police.
It's a sign that says Zionism uses Jews as human shields, for those of you who are listening on audio.
Pack your bags and get the hell out!
And they're telling that to Biden.
Every now and then,
You're a liar.
Tells the right.
So, hey, Joe Biden, you're a sellout. You're a liar. How many kids have you killed today? Wow.
Yeah. All the hits.
Yeah.
All the hits for that.
So how crazy was it?
I mean, it wasn't the most crazy because the past two big marches, they actually did attack the White House perimeter. There was, you could say, a little bit of an insurrection there, but they didn't do that this time.
Insurrection-y.
They didn't do that this time, but it was still crazy because, like, yeah, I mean, you had the Park Police and Secret Service being chased out of Lafayette Square, which is right across the street from the White House.
Right.
And after that, and that was about an hour into the protest. So after that, there was very minimal police presence because that's part of their de-escalation tactics. That
They just run away?
yes. But more than that. So actually now it's up on Blaze.com. I was able to interview actually one of the officers that was attacked and chased away, and he's in my video because he's the union president for the Park Police, and he told me that only 71 officers were assigned to that protest when there were 9,000 people in that area.
Wow.
They did not have their civil disturbance unit set up. So even for, in case things did get out of hand, the unit that is designed for riot control and crowd control, there was nothing there. And on top of that, even the line officers, as you saw in the video, they were just in their patrol uniforms because they weren't given any riot control gear. Right. So I asked him, I said, so were you guys set up to fail? And he said, absolutely 100%. The command leadership hung us out to dry. I asked him, so do you think the politics of the Biden administration and this whole thing, do you think that played a role? And to his credit, he said, well, I don't know for sure. I don't know where exactly that decision was made to basically just leave us to the wolves. But he just I don't know why this happened the way it did, because normally that is not what is supposed to happen per their guidelines on how to make sure that things are safe and not vandalized during a big protest. And that's why the protesters had such an easy time in broad daylight to desecrate and vandalize these statues, because the police, even if they wanted to, and trust me, they wanted to, he said it was very demoralizing to not be able to do anything about it. Even if they could, they didn't have the manpower or the equipment to do something about it.
Which is really it's bad, because you're kind of setting the precedent that you can do whatever you want, and then we'll stand here and talk a big game, and then at the end of it, we're just going to turn around and walk away. So you're kind of setting the precedent that all bets are off.
Well, that precedent got set back in Minneapolis 4 years ago in 2020. When they were ordered out of the 3rd precinct.
Right, but I mean, on the White House lawn. I mean, outside the White House.
Yes, it's just all of these far left protests that it's, to me, as someone who covered the ones 4 years ago, it's just a continuation of that. It's just a new issue to attach themselves to.
Yeah,
and they're all street communists. They're all crazy. Yeah. They're all no, seriously. Like, I mean, they talk about doing the revolution and all this and all that. And I will say that the most disturbing part about Saturday was it was the most overt pro-Hamas protest.
Really?
Because I've been covering these things since October 8th. Mm-hmm. And prior to last weekend, they would use euphemisms like, the resistance and the martyrs. They wouldn't say Hamas. You wouldn't see any signs, but you had plenty of people in signs saying that they were for Hamas. There were a lot of people wearing the Hamas like actual headbands.
No,
they wear in the Gaza Strip. Yeah, like the actual militant. So they were wearing those, and people who weren't. They were going up to those who were and giving them kudos, giving them high fives and fist bumps. So I mean, it is not an exaggeration at all to say that these are Hamas supporters and they're here in the U.S. They're obviously not going to go to the Gaza Strip to fight, and so it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to go over there, what are you going to do here?
Right.
And I can tell you, and this is something I've been worrying about for a long time, is that they are going to escalate their tactics, and I don't think the law enforcement are allowed to be able to be ready for that.
Well, it's a good thing that we don't have a wide open border where they could just be walking right into the country planning their next attack. 'Cause that would be really bad if we did.
Almost as if, right?
Yeah. It could be really bad. That's just really shocking to me that they are so blatant in broad daylight pro-terrorist. And I'm all for the First Amendment. I'd just like to make this clear. But at what point are you like, if you're pro-terrorists that hate our country, you got to go?
Well, they're enabled, aren't
they? Just asking.
They're enabled. Why should... I'm not shocked at all, to be honest with you. I'm just... If anything, I'm just a little bit concerned why they haven't been even more aggressive and they haven't done more things. I think I was very worried initially, like you said, with the amount of fighting age males that have come over the border, that we haven't been hit, especially when there's been a response like, they said... that with these hostages again, which is kind of the arguments that you hear.
And they were referencing that, right? Because the news broke of the rescue mission, and of course they were really mad about that because they were mad about the supposed death toll, and I think we have to take that with a grain of salt because I think some of those included the people that were fighting the rescue mission operators. But I mean, what I can say is that they've already done a lot, trying to block traffic to airports, trying to disrupt all sorts of things. And it's just because, there can be nothing normal going on while there's a quote unquote genocide happening.
Yeah.
But it's the leftists. I mean, that's what it is. It's like you said, it's all communists. It's that they're all just getting behind whatever cause they need to cause disruption. And we have a very, very weak president.
Yeah. What are you talking about? He's strong when he strains to poop in his diaper. All right, we've got it. Julio, I know you're a superstar. You got to go. We're going to let you go. We appreciate all of your work, and I'm sure you're going to be getting in the middle of something soon, and we'll have you back on soon.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, before we go, want to remind you guys, there's so much to offer over behind the paywall at BlazeTV. Make sure that you can go there. You can get, $20 off with promo code Sarah. I've got actually a documentary coming out on Thursday.
Very soon.
Yes.
Trailer drops tomorrow.
Oh.
Yep.
So spoiler alert, it's coming out. You're going to see the trailer tomorrow. It's awesome. So make sure that you are signed up over at blazetv.com/Sarah. Use promo code Sarah to save $20. We'll be right back. Well, the case against Hunter Biden in his federal gun trial is now in the hands of the jury in Wilmington, Delaware. So this morning, the defense attorneys in his trial began their closing arguments today. And I know there was some deliberation about whether or not Hunter Biden was going to testify. Ultimately, he ended up declining, and they did not put him on the stand to testify, which I would say was probably a pretty smart decision. Just saying. And so if he is found guilty on all three counts, he could be sentenced to up to 25 years in prison. Now, if he was Donald Trump Jr., I'm sure that he would get that.
Yeah.
But, it's Hunter Biden. And so...
This is the smartest guy Joe Biden knows.
It's a great point. He did say that. Smartest guy he knows. He'd trust him with anything. And so I can almost assure you that he will receive no sort of accountability or responsibility for this. Now, I would also like to note here, as they were going through the jury selection process, nearly all of the jurors that were impaneled said that they knew someone with substance abuse issues. So you would imagine the defense is counting on exploiting that weakness. And I wouldn't even think that it was so much that the prosecution didn't, think to try to sift through those jurors, but that literally all of them were like, yeah, I know someone with substance abuse issues, which is kind of a problem when you think about it. Everyone knows someone with substance abuse issues. But, he's got all this evidence against him. He admitted to using drugs in his own book about his own life, and it was actually key evidence that he was using drugs. And so but then again, it's like, well, Donald Trump has 91 indictments and is now a convicted felon, and Hunter Biden actually did it and recorded his whole damn life, which he lives 95% of the time naked. He doesn't like clothes. We know that, unfortunately. I didn't want to know it, but now we all know it. And so you got to believe that in this justice system where everything is upside down, only in this justice system can Donald Trump face potential prison time for miscategorizing a check. And yet Hunter Biden smokes crack and lies on his gun form. And all of this is done right in front of us, right before our very eyes, all on the laptop. And somehow he's going to get away with it, is what I would say.
It turns out some people are actually above the law. We hear that. We hear that no one is above the law.
But Joe Biden told me no one is above the law.
Yeah, huh? Isn't that curious?
Yeah.
It turns out that the Democrats have a whole cadre of groups on their people, individuals, groups on their side that are all completely above the law. The law is only a weapon to use against their enemies. And they figured this out. They're taking this country down a very dark path, but nobody's put a stop to them yet. So they're just going to keep doing it until the double standard is ended.
Yeah, which doesn't...
Who knows how long that will take.
doesn't happen unless we have a change in the freaking White House. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, and there used to be a day where you would look and say, okay, so this person has had no previous convictions before and has no drug use, but this charge has come to him, so we should probably let him off. Now it's like, oh no, this guy's had a crap ton of stuff put at him. He has drug issues, so then we should probably let him off.
Right.
I'm like...
Right.
Hang on a minute. If someone's got drug issues, like if you've got mental issues, you shouldn't be having a firearm.
Right.
Right? You shouldn't.
Yeah, and he has a clean criminal record, but like, we've seen the videos. We know he hasn't lived a clean life. We know he was a criminal that whole time. He just didn't get caught, or B, when he got caught, got let off the hook because of his daddy. That's clear. I mean, he left.
Well, we know that.
He left crack in a freaking rental car.
But that's what I said. We know it.
I know.
Even though it's not coming, we know what he's allegedly accused of, or that he's admitted to, just because you haven't been prosecuted for it or whatever. But like I said, normally you'd be sitting going, oh no, I do drugs as well as having a gun. And now it's like, no. Everyone knows someone who has drugs, so they're clearly going to let you off. It's like, where are we in this country? This is what they want. They want the fentanyl to come over.
I don't know anyone with substance abuse issues, I would just like to say.
I actually don't know anyone with substance abuse.
I really don't. Am I just hanging out with very wholesome people, I guess? I don't know. I don't know anyone like that.
Or it's just you.
I'm the person with the substance abuse issue. Yeah, no. This is how rumors get started, Steven. Shut up.
No, what he's doing is he's trying to get you off your upcoming prosecution that they're going to make up about you.
So, it's
4D
true.
chess, Sarah.
That's great. That's a great point. It's so that later on, when they accuse me of miscategorizing a business expense because I signed a check wrong or something, they'll be like, but she had a substance abuse issue.
I think what we all need to do is just change our last names to Biden.
Yeah.
And then we experiment and see and just tell the jury, hey,
But my last name is Biden.
Yeah. That's my defense.
Your Honor, I just want to make sure that you saw on my form that my last name is Biden. Just making sure. They're like, is any relation to Joe? Well, no, I just changed my last name to Biden, but I was just hoping that you wouldn't ask me that question. So speaking of Joe, I want to play this really quickly here. Chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman James Comer, claimed yesterday that a report would be released very soon listing criminal allegations against Joe Biden. Here's that announcement.
Are you saying that we could expect a criminal referral against Joe Biden
Are
for
you
money laundering?
saying?
Is that what you just said?
Well, I think that it's no secret Joe Biden's committed many crimes.
Yeah, we
and I
know.
think that you're going to see a report very soon.
Okay.
That report is imminent. That'll probably be an interim report that updates everyone on the crimes that Biden and his administration have committed throughout this investigation.
We don't need an update. We already know the crimes.
Through the years of the Obama-Biden administration.
Well, you have subpoena power. Why not subpoena these people as well? Put them in the hot seat.
We've subpoenaed all the associates. The only person we haven't talked to is Joe Biden. As you know, it's hard to subpoena a sitting president, or the Democrats would have done that to Donald Trump. But I think that what we've done in all of our depositions and interviews has been very substantive, and it's going to be very useful in accountability.
First of all, the music cracks me up because it's like they're clearly trying to go to a break and then she keeps asking him questions and he keeps answering and talking over the music. But I'm so sick to death of hearing these people talk about, oh, well, you're going to see it very soon. And then after that, we may hold a hearing.
Yeah, Fox News is a complete joke. It's just like cattle slop for boomers. It's just like Hannity There's a really funny meme of it's like Hannity at 90 years old with super gray hair and wrinkles all over its face. It says deep state indictments coming soon, any day now. It's the same old show. It's just a joke. They put it on there. They don't actually expect them to get anything done. They just have a Republican on Fox News to say, we're holding them accountable.
It's just so annoying.
It's embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. Well, we're going to update you on all the crimes that he committed. We already know them. BlazeTV did a special about them like 4 years ago.
No swear jar.
I don't need one. This is unfiltered. Matt, I don't need a swear
I'm just
jar.
saying, I've turned over a new leaf.
I know, you're better than me because you don't curse anymore. Well, listen, I'm just like, I try to use it sparingly, but I'm just so sick to death of these people. They are trying to imprison Joe Biden's top political opponent. And all we get from our side are these yahoos who are like, well, very soon we're going to hold a hearing and then we will tell you about all of the crimes that Joe Biden committed. We've already seen the evidence, bro.
He's let in 15 million illegals into the country.
Right. He's fine with that. He's sending all your money to Ukraine. Okay. We've already seen all of the evidence. We've seen the money transfers. We've already seen all the evidence. When are you hold him accountable or don't, but stop lying to us like you actually care. If you cared, you would have done this day freaking one. There, I said freaking instead. Welcome, America.
You're improving.
Thank you. I'm becoming a better person. Last word.
You know, it's like, do you remember that you probably don't know this, but the people watching will. There's a Robin Williams sketch where he said about Gaddafi, he goes, you cross this line, I kill you. You cross this line, I kill you. You knock on my door, I don't come out. That's what it's like. It's like that. Nobody takes him seriously. They know they're not going to get held accountable. I mean, can you imagine if he comes out and he goes, we've heard that he says 10% for the big guy. And you're like, oh.
Right.
No.
Right. Well, I don't know. They might surprise us, and he might actually write a sternly worded letter to the manager. Okay, he might do that, and then Joe Biden's really gonna be in trouble. All right, so I don't know how much of this next segment we're gonna be able to. Long story short, we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna share with you guys my experience at Arlington, Texas Pride Festival when we return. I think it goes without saying that the videos that you are about to watch are not all ages. They are not family friendly. Now, these festivals would tell you that they are because these are all billed as all ages, family friendly festivals. It's just some good old fashioned American fun. And I want you guys to watch this and tell me if you feel like this is at all family friendly. Watch.
Sir, there are dildos in there. No, there's not. Yeah, it is. I'll show you the video. Yes, there is.
These are, of course, blurred for your own protection. Those of you who are listening on audio, there is a free HIV testing, a woman exposing her breasts, drag queen. I'm pretty sure that's full butt. You definitely see a crack. There's the flag that says the C word. LGBTQ and Christian, yes, was that booth. There's a pup mask. He's being walked. And this is a drag queen talking to a 5-year-old in the front because they always point out the kids. Is this your first Pride? Yes.
You have on TV or in person? Oh, excuse me. On your TV? Well, I haven't been on the TV yet, but I'm going to get there. We love you, Leland.
We love you, Leland, to a 5-year-old. And this is just some of the interesting clientele you'd see. The F word there. This is a man who clearly tucks. And, of course, Big Brothers, Big Sisters had a booth there as well, along with a bunch of toddler Pride shirts with, Bluey and Paw Patrol and all those, and then the Boy Scouts with all of the trans flags all over the place.
I'm starting to think these people don't just want to be left alone.
Really? What would give you that impression, Logan?
There's something strange about why are they always bringing children to these things and not senior citizens? You really wonder what the agenda here is. It's really not a head scratcher that you would think. But yeah, I mean, we were told forever that we just need, they're just the same. We just need to be more tolerant and inclusive. Turns out societies deserve what they tolerate. And we've been tolerating a lot more than we should on a societal level. And it's just going to get worse and worse. I mean, it's real Sodom and Gomorrah hours.
Yeah, it's interesting when we talk about this particular topic because the drag queens will come at me. They get very mad when I expose this, and I'm like, you seem proud of it. You should be thanking me because now your video is seen by far more people. But they get very mad at me and they say, well, it's the parents. If you want to blame someone, blame the parents. Listen, first of all, there's enough responsibility to be shared, okay? I do blame the parents, but you know who else I blame? The drag queen who always seems to point out the young children in the audience and talk to them.
Like you say, the Texas Family Project's out there doing the heavy lifting. But this just stops. It stops when you decide that it needs to stop. I mean, this is it. I'll tell you this. Something about Sarah. Sarah you were out with me this week, and she went off and she went to that Pride thing. I'm like, don't you ever stop? She was doing stuff there. She went straight there to the Pride, to that. I don't even want to call it Pride. I mean, it's just perverse weirdness, right? You've got to get involved. You have to be there. There needs to be hundreds, if not thousands of people turn up to this and say, no, this is unacceptable. Like it stops when you get involved. We've said this 1,000 times, and it can't just be one person or a few people that are going out there putting all their time and effort into it. There needs to be a movement to make this end. That's it. It stops when you decide it is going to stop.
Yeah. Which, by the way, thanks, Matt. You can go to defendkidstx.com if you'd like to sign up to help me, because to Matt's point, it's just me. We're just hobbling along by ourselves. And it's very frustrating because I appreciate those who say, like, thank you for the work that you're doing. But then I ask for help and, hey, can you guys show up and help? And I hardly get any responses.
Well, another thing that should be pointed out too is this was in Texas, right?
Yeah.
This is a red state.
Yes.
Like this is not New York City
Right.
or San Francisco. This is happening in deep red states. They're bringing they're bringing it directly to your doorstep to rub your noses in it. And there's a very fascinating chart that Axios put out a few months back, but it was about each generation, what percentage of the generation identifies as LGBTQ. And, boomers, it's like 1% or below 1%. Each generation subsequently is rising. And now it's like the newest generation is like, I think it's like 20 or 25% of them are choosing this now. So that is like the indoctrination working. It's not that it's necessarily about being LGBT or whatever.
Right.
It's about power.
Yeah.
And the left recognizes this. Fortunately, I have a great piece in the Blaze that I put out recently that says Pride Month is canceled due to White Boy Summer.
I love that.
We have officially canceled it.
We've officially canceled it. We've replaced it with White Boy Summer. You're welcome, America. All right. Well, I've got one more video to show you. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So I'm going to show you guys the caliber of the people who were at this event. And just look, I'm telling you, this is a product of public schools. Watch.
Google right now, can you do IVF without a man? Go ahead.
And so your argument is you don't need a man at all.
You do not. You do not need a man to have a baby. What year are you living in? What year are you living
At any stage. There's no sperm that's involved.
No. You can have a baby without a man. You can learn
no sperm.
You can educate yourself right now.
You're so sure.
And no sperm.
You can literally look that up right now.
Or you will be alone.
You're more worried about laughing in your camera and recording me than doing a quick Google search to educate yourself.
Why don't you inform me?
I did.
No. Don't say Google
You can
it.
take 2 eggs and IVF and make a baby.
Oh.
You can gladly Google that, but you don't want to. None of you have done it.
Be free today from sin.
And of course, the end was those of you who are listening on audio. We did Google it just to include it in the video, and it's not possible to combine 2 eggs to create a baby because pregnancy requires a sperm cell to fertilize an egg, dumbass.
You're just a hater.
Like I'm glad you pointed that out. The confidence with which these people spew this nonsense. I'm like, the audacity of her to be like, what year are you living in? These people vote.
Yep.
We got 30 seconds left. That's all I can think to say. These people walk among us and they vote.
Maybe they shouldn't.
What? That's what I'm saying. Their vote counts as much as yours. And she thinks that you don't have to have sperm in order to make a baby.
That's the party of science, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
Trust the science.
I can't. I've rendered myself speechless. I guess. Thank you guys for being here.